Well, now we're on section 5.4, and we're going to do question 9, and we have to find the integral of this. So this equals, and I can factor that 2 out if I want. I don't have to, but I think I will now. Over 3. Pi over 3, those are the limits, 0 to pi over 3 of secant squared x dx. And that equals 2, and the integral of secant squared x, the antiderivative is tan x. And we're going to evaluate that from 0 to pi over 3. And now we have 2 times, and the tan of pi over 3 is root 3. And minus tan of 0 is 0, so what we get is 2 root 3, and we're done with that one. Okay, now we're going to do question 25, and so we've got to evaluate the integral from pi over 2 to pi of this quotient here, sine of 2x over 2 sine of x dx. So the first thing we're going to do is rewrite sine of 2x in terms of its identity, which is 2 sine of x cosine of x. And in the denominator we have 2 sine of x, and that's dx. And notice we've got factors that divide out, so now we have the integral from pi over 2 to pi of cosine of x dx, much more manageable. And the antiderivative of cosine of x is sine of x. So we're going to evaluate that from pi over 2 to pi. And sine of pi is -1. I beg your pardon, it is not, it's 0. Excuse me. Sine of pi is 0, and then minus the sine of pi over 2, and the sine of pi over 2 is 1, and 0 minus 1 is -1, and that's our value.